There are so many ways to improve your life, from your energy levels to your focus, from your productivity to your motivation. But these 6 habits are things that I have found that have made the biggest impact in my life. And the great thing is, anybody can do them. So these are the 6 habits that will actually make a difference in your life. And before we jump into the video, if you haven't already, subscribe to my newsletter, The Life Draft, where I send weekly emails on self-improvement, creativity, and designing a life that you love. So go check that out with the link below. So we're going to come out swinging right from the get-go. The number 1 biggest habit that you can do to make the biggest impact in your life is daily, consistent exercise. There are so many things that come from just exercising. I couldn't name them all, but here are a few. First, your confidence will go way up. Your motivation will go way up. Your productivity in all areas of your life will go up. Your motivation goes up. How you feel goes up. Every single thing is good when you exercise. And yeah, you're going to be working hard. You're going to be pushing yourself. You will fail at times. You will feel super low energy at times. Your body will be screaming if you haven't exercised consistently, or if you're doing more volume, or if you're doing new exercises and your muscles are screaming at you. It's not easy, but it is the biggest thing you can do to improve every single area of your life. For me, it all fits within what I call the cycle of energy. And this is something that I thought of when I was on a walk a few months ago, and here's what it looks like. The first part of the cycle is exercise, making sure that you are consistent every day with your exercise, elevating your heart rate, pushing yourself, exerting yourself. As a result of that exercise, at least in my experience, you will want to eat better, eat high quality, high protein meals, and get enough sleep. And because of the exercise and the eating, your sleep will be better, it'll be deeper, and just higher quality sleep all around. When you wake up in the morning, because of your exercise the day before, your good eating, and your great night's sleep, you will wake up with a lot of energy, and you're going to be motivated to work out again, to eat healthy, to get sleep, and the cycle continues with energy and motivation. So once I saw this cycle in my own life, it was a huge revelation for me, because I realized that if I wanted energy, then all I needed to do was exercise. Once I got into the gym, or once I exercised in any way, I naturally wanted to eat better, which made me sleep better, which gave me energy, which gave me motivation, which made me work out again. The moment that I realized this cycle existed and all I had to do was work out and the cycle would naturally start, it was so impactful to me, and it made all the difference. If I can just get to the gym, if I can just exercise, I know that I'm going to eat better, I'll sleep better, I'll have more energy, I'll have more motivation, and I will just continue the cycle. And everything good for me in my life comes from exercise. The second habit that has really helped shape my life as a whole is journaling. Now, I've been journaling consistently for over 13 years now. I've written hundreds and hundreds of pages in my journal, and it is something that regularly impacts me in a lot of surprising ways, but a lot of consistent ways as well. The number one way that I journal, and there's 2 different methods of this, the number one way that I do it is day-to-day journaling. It's just recording my day-to-day activities, what I think, what I feel, what I'm doing that day, who I'm hanging out with, what I'm struggling with, all that stuff. I do this for a variety of reasons. First of all, I want to document my life, and I want to leave behind something for my kids or grandkids in the future. But it's also made a huge impact on me when I go back months, years, even a decade, and I can see exactly what I was doing, what I was struggling with, what I hoped for, what I wanted to achieve, and I can see how I overcame those things over time and how much I've grown since then, or as a result of those things. And that to me is extremely motivating. It helps me see that I am progressing, that I am getting better, and that is something that I really value. I really value self-improvement and getting better with measurable results over time, and daily journaling does that. The second way that I journal that I would recommend that everybody do is prompt-based. This is where you choose a prompt or a question. For example, where do you see yourself in 5 years is a good one. And then you simply write with no end goal in mind besides just answering the question. I see myself living here, doing this for work, having this kind of lifestyle, doing this with my time, X, Y, and Z. When you do that, you really discover a lot about yourself, what you value. And once you do that, you can say, well, here's what I need to do in order to achieve this thing. So it's really all about life planning, about self-discovery, introspection, learning about yourself. And the more that you learn about yourself, the better plans you can make to improve yourself and your situation, leading to a better quality of life, better situation. Everything is better the more you know. And the way that you know is to see what you write. When you write it down, you actually see how your brain works and what's important to you, and then you can move forward. The next habit that will make a big difference in your life is reading. For me, reading is all about getting away from distractions, being quiet, and being still. What I read is much less important than the fact that I am just reading. But I do love reading self-improvement books, fantasy, sci-fi. It doesn't really matter what you like to read. The fact is, you're separating yourself from distractions, you're separating yourself away from noise, and you are focusing on something. Ideally, you're doing something that you find valuable, you're reading something that you find interesting, whether it's to improve yourself, to learn a new skill or learn about a new topic, or it's simply to entertain yourself with some fiction. It doesn't really matter. The benefits are all there, and for me, it's all about separating myself, distancing myself from the noise and the distraction and the phones and the screens, and just enjoying the quiet while I read. This is one of those things where it doesn't have to be reading. You can substitute this habit for anything else that gives you what reading gives me, and it's that separation, it's the quiet, it's all that stuff. So if there's other things that you find does that for you, then absolutely go ahead and do that and make that a consistent part of your life. The next habit is having some type of creative outlet, some type of creative hobby or passion. For me, that is photography. The reason why photography is such an important part of my life is it's creative. I get to create and capture things that I'm doing. If I go on trips, I can capture the memory, capture the experience. Journaling is really important to me, and remembering. So for me, it's a natural progression that photography, it's a way that I can remember and capture. It's also a way that I can create and be creative, and I can capture what's around me. I love doing nature or landscape photography. And so when I'm out in nature, which I love, I get to look at it in a different way, which forces my brain to think a different way, and it helps me create something that wasn't there before in the form of this photograph, or capture something. I also love the process of editing the photos and creating something. So photography is this creative outlet for me, but for you, it might be anything else, anything with your hands, building something. It could be illustration, painting, sketching, anything like that. But any type of creative outlet, I think, is key to having a quality life, because you're using all aspects of your brain. You're using problem solving, you're using creativity, imagination, all of this stuff to help you create something that didn't exist before, or to capture something in my case, or to look at something in a different way that is unique to you. So as you focus on some type of creative outlet in your life, you will find huge satisfaction when you step back and look at what you create. It is a very addicting cycle. It's something that makes you a very interesting person. It adds a lot of depth, a lot of self-discovery, and it's just enjoyable. That's part of the reason why we exist here, is to have fun and to enjoy ourselves. So if you can find something that allows you to create and enjoy yourself, then that is exactly what you want to do. The next habit that'll make a huge impact in your life is waking up early. And if you think back to that cycle of energy that I mentioned before with the first habit of exercise, waking up early for me is something that naturally happens when I'm exercising consistently, because I'm eating well, I'm getting good quality sleep, and I'm getting enough sleep. And so I naturally am waking up early in the morning. And when I wake up in the morning, I find that I am the most productive I am during the entire day. And I use that time to go on a walk, to organize my thoughts, kind of plan out my day a little bit, to read, to be quiet, to be still, to write in my journal, and to edit photos, to do things that I find enjoyable to get work done that I want to get done. And so waking up early also makes it so I have time in the morning before I need to go to work, where I can be alone, where I can think about what I want to think about, and really center myself before I go out and I work really hard and do all the things that I need to do in the day. It gives me that time in the morning where I am alone, being calm, being still, and just making sure that I can have a great day. The last habit that I think will make the biggest difference in your life is weekly planning. The reason why this is so powerful is you get to look at the week as a whole, what's coming up, what you need to do on a day-to-day basis to make sure that the week is really successful for you and things go smoothly. One question I like to ask myself when I am planning my week, what things I need to get done, I ask myself, what are the top 3 things that if I got done this week, it would be a very successful week? And once I identify what those 3 things are, I can write down what needs to happen in order to accomplish those things, when roughly they need to happen throughout the week, and it really helps me know exactly what I need to do in order to get those things done that I want to. It also helps you just know what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis, and you're not just wasting time and doing things that you don't really want to do. You're actively managing your time and making sure that you are getting what you want out of each day and out of the week as a whole. So those are the 6 habits that will actually make a difference in your life. Some may not be for you, but I do think that if you prioritize consistent, regular exercise and journaling, you will be able to figure out any other habit that will make the biggest impact in your life. I do not think you should sacrifice any type of exercise, and I think that if you don't journal, you are leaving a lot of potential insight on the table for you to improve yourself and improve your life down the line. So, hope that helped. We'll see you in the next video.